Hello everybody, I'm a Pigflake and welcome to a special part of Tales of Phantasia that I never really got to. And that's pretty much the extra stuff that you could have done. Not all of the extra stuff, but most of the extra stuff you could have done before you got to the final dungeon, which is Dhaos' castle. There's a few summons and spells that I didn't show, and there's also some other treasure that I'm not going to show because the Morlia mine is pretty fucking long. Anyways, here's Gremlin Lair. That's actually the spirit's name, Gremlin Lair. Could be a translation thing for all I know. Anyways, I know I'm scrolling through the text a little bit too fast, but that's what the pause button's for. But then I'll try not to do that so much in the future because honestly, I am kind of a quick reader. As long as I read it, I continue on with the text. And it's an RPG and I don't want to prolong it. But at the same time, I forget, people gotta read this stuff. So anyhow, I forget which ring I need to use. We'll figure it out right now. I think it's Sapphire because Gremlin Lair would choose it. But essentially, Clarth and Cress, not Kless, Cress, is actually the proper translation to Japanese. But since, I think the Japanese doesn't really have an L sound, so R to L. And I think the GBA calls them Cress too. But anyways, I don't know why the hell I went on a tangent on that one. But we're going to try to trick Gremlin Lair's like, yeah, you wouldn't want to be with us, right? Even if we are badass. And well, he kind of falls for it. As per usual with my Tales of Phantasia, when I get summons and I'm about to end the part, if I do, I show it off. So it's been a while since I've heard that, so I wanted to hear it again. But we got Gremlin Lair. Hey, 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 hey. And Clark's a Warlock too. But anyways, here's Gremlin Lair. Honestly, it's a really, really weak summon spell. Even when I had Clark at level 80, it didn't really do that much. Sure, it's multiple attacks based on, it actually hits about multiple enemies too, but even so, it's not even that much. But they are pretty cute, I mean, if you ask me. Anyways, these enemies right here, the Kiyomasa, they're kind of like that of Dhaos' enemies, but they're a lot more stronger here in the Morlia mine. Since the Morlia mine is kind of like the RPG trope of 100 dungeon thing. So here's actually the hardest boss, at least for me in the game. People will say it's Pluto and Cerberus, but I think this is the strongest boss, at least for me in the game. This is the boss I actually had a lot of trouble with. I'm not going to show you how many times I died, but I'm going to show you the time I didn't die. Pretty sure there's other stronger bosses in the GBA version and PSP version, which I hope, because I am into the difficulty. So here's Wyvern, or I think I pronounced it right. Wyvern. Wyvern. Hello, Laverne. And Shirley. Anyways, this boss is actually a really spammy boss. So you gotta spam the fuck back at him and hope you can reach close enough with Cress. So my brain was like, call him Kless. No, I wanna call him Cress! Anyways, spam as much as you can. I gave Clarth and Arsh the, what do you call it? The time cutting spell. Anyways, now that I got close, I can actually help keep this guy stun locked for a bit, because this, as you saw, he really fucked me up in only like 2 or 3 fireballs. Even as I was spamming spells to keep him, prevent him from doing that. And it's just really hard to get close to. I mean, I think I'm about level, from when I saw from the status menu, I was around, 50, 60? Also, more to explain before I go on to this boss, but the strategy is keep this motherfucker stunned. So anyways, I didn't do this dungeon after I beat the game. I didn't do this dungeon before I beat the game. I actually did this dungeon in 2 separate save files. One is where it's me still blind beating the game with the dungeon. The other one was while I waited for the other guys to commentate, I just played this through, like how easy would this game be if I went through this dungeon, which was optional, and then the final dungeon, and it's actually pretty fucking easy. You'll see later on in the next video how I fight Dhaos after finally going through this dungeon. Anyways, here's another spell, Arsh is Black Hole. Did little damage because this is a boss. It's one of those kill enemy attacks, but I had to show this off because it's a Morlia mine thing. Probably a risky move, but anyways. And I got this boss locked finally, so I'm not really gonna risk Black Hole anymore. Black Hole's an instant kill move. It is helpful in the Morlia mine because you can't use white bottles, and after you defeat this enemy, you get an item that limits how high the random counters are going to be for the whole game. After all that, damn you, humans. Fucking humans, shit. Anyways, it's worth noting that I was using the combo command, which I think I have explained in the main Let's Play, but essentially to refresh your memory, to refresh you guys' memory, it lets me move freely and I have to use inputs to use the combo commands. Anyways, there's a lot of equipment I'm getting here. I would explain them, but for the most part, it's not really worth it. Nothing but jails here. On the other side, there's some equipment and some, mostly equipment. But here's where the amazing stuff is. We got question marks, sword, an art book for, this is Kless's best art. Beast Sword Rain. Why? Is because it's Sword Rain Alpha in combination with Beast. And you really do push a lot. And Big Bang. But anyways, the question mark sword you'll be soon seeing, and I think the other one was the Scout Orb. That's the one that lets us limit the encounter rate. Anyways, I think that's all the spells for Arshay, so now we got Magic Maestro. So, I think that's nice. That's very nice. So let's figure out what this question mark sword is. I already know what it is. I'm pretty sure you guys know what this is. So, it turns into Excalibur! For those who... whatever. Anyways, Persian boots. These are actually the best boots in the game. This speed up battle movement thing, it's useless. The Persian boots, though, as you read in the stats, is amazing. Reduces damage by 30%, if I recall correctly. The Chizakura is another weapon that we got down there. It's for Suzu, but it's pretty fucking weak, useless because it's dark damage. Anyways, Excalibur is actually Cress's best sword in the game, next to the SD sword we'll be getting later on. The only reason the SD sword is one of the greatest swords in the game is because you needed to use a certain ability once Cress hits level 99, which we won't be getting anytime soon. Also, I don't use Mint in that boss battle, so I can increase the difficulty on myself a little bit more. It was pretty much a go for broke thing. But anyways, here's another summon spirit. I don't know the original name for this, but maybe it's still Pluto or Pruto, or just plain as Puto for some of those who fought this guy at a low level. I'm at around what, level 70 I think at this point. Maybe. I mean, this just traveling to this dungeon, trying to stay alive, pressing on without going back, which is pretty fucking hard to do. You get a lot of levels here. Eventually the enemies do get easier, but there's some fucking annoying ass enemies here on. Anyways, this is actually the last spirit you're gonna be fighting. And it's Pluto, and this is the hardest spirit in the game. Pluto fights with his three-headed dog of hell, Cerberus. So here's Pluto's health. I kind of went to the menu right away because I like to set up. But it was 45,000 and the Wyvern had 42, I think, or 46. Anyways, he's weak to Holy, so I had brought Mint for that, but also because I heard that this guy is really fucking hard, but for some reason when I fought him, he wasn't that hard for me, but maybe because I was a little bit over leveled for him. I mean, I did give Cress a lot of, I forget the herb it was called, but decrease HP, so he was pretty tanky. But my main strategy was, I was gonna have the others focus on Cerberus while I focused on Pluto, so they would interrupt the others. This is why I love Chester. He's gonna be spamming the fuck out of his mystic art, I believe, while Clark takes the hits. Clark is not gonna be able to cast that many spells. However, it's gonna be enough to buy Chester some time to take down Cerberus. This is my strategy. I'm just explaining to you how I did this, because I did this on my first go. With that, I also have a card having to cast his spell time in half, so that's why you got Origin out there. I'm not gonna have him do the stronger spells because it'll take a little bit longer to cast. Origin's the good balance of fast and slow. As you can see, Clark is missing 3 more summons. I'm gonna get Pluto, and then we're gonna have 2 other summons. I actually never figured out what the final summon was. I don't know if there is a final summon. I could be wrong, but after this one, I do get Shadow. Anyways, Clark is getting his hand handed to him by Cerberus. He's not even poisoned. Pluto is... I'm gonna call him Death, because Pluto's just a weird name to call him, to be honest. I know Luna, Pluto, Sailor Moon, I don't know, whatever. But I'm I'm doing my best to keep this guy at bay, but his fire is, you see the fire shining around Pluto actually keeps Celeste in check because he's their only melee character in this game. I mean, anyone else is a melee character, honestly, but the only effective melee character is Crest. Like, you know, I keep saying Celeste, but I'm trying to say Crest from now on. I'm even trying to type it, trying to say Crest. But yeah, essentially, the fire will hit you no matter what, so it's best to use Distortion Blade or to an extent Sword and Alpha. But here's Pluto. He's doing his dual casting thing where he adds up the damage, and that's a lot of damage. Obviously, I did bring Arch because she is a caster, but without service, Pluto's pretty useless now to the rest of us. However, we do have some fallen people, aka Chester, but that's fine because I got Mint here, and she also has the medallion that keeps us, that gets halftime casting. So I guess I made this game a little bit easier than I should have. Had I brought Arch instead of honestly, if I had brought Arch instead of Mint, it would have just been more menus of me popping up items to throw on and heal everybody else. But at the same time, I didn't bother doing that because as I moved around the dungeon, I needed to be mindful of how much I spend in the dungeon, so Mint was the obvious choice. Anyways, we beat Pluto. We not only get him as a summon, but we also get one of his blades. I think it's the Doom Blade, I believe. It's another common dark sword that we see in I think we got it in the forest. I forget what that forest is called. It's a famous forest from Symphonia and here as well. Trent Forest, I think. But I mean, it's called something else over in the original, I believe. But I think it's called Trent Forest. Or Ymir Forest. Why is my cat making noise? Ah, whatever. It's gonna be caught. I'm not really gonna bother with that. I'm gonna let her have fun. She's been terrorized lately. Anyways, my name is Clarth. Give me your fucking power, king of whatever the fuck you are. Pluto's pretty fucking weak. Assuming he's the strongest summon in this game, or the strongest spirit to fight in this game. It's because he's a Dark Affinity, and Dark Affinities really fucking suck in this game. Because everyone else is dark. Except, I don't know who the fuck else, but everyone else is fucking dark. So here's check out some Pluto. I know it was unfair for me to use it on a Banshee, since they're Dark Affinity too, but even all those fires that are hitting them, it's like, what, 5 hits? Let's count this one more time so I can make sure. Assuming, let's say they were like at 800 each. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hits. 8 at 800, that's 6,400 damage. That's not too bad. This is just going a little bit high on 800, but anyways, this is Shadow. There's another dungeon that's right next to the Frezekiel city, and you actually have to go to the Morlia mine to get a candle to get in here. But also to get to the Morlia mine, you also need a candle in this dungeon, so there's a lot of backtracking in between. So anyways, this is Shadow, one of the more quieter spirits. He does talk, but he's pretty fucking pissed. So anyways, he's more concerned about saving his other shadowy beings. So according to this, Clark says, alright, we'll help you out, and you can leave whatever the fuck you want once your friends are helped out. You can see him right there, the red eyes around there. And Shadow's pretty pissed at, you know, what Dhaos has done, or the chaos that's happened. All this stuff is happening. It's like, alright, Shadow's like, alright, I'll help you guys out. I'm out of here once my fucking friends are free. So now we got Shadow, one of the more useless than Pluto and Gremlin there. I'm not fucking kidding you. But they also come with a funny skit for getting him, so I guess that, if that's anything worth of it. But Shadow, summon the spirit of darkness. Really fucking useless. But it has a cool animation, if I might say so myself. I know I didn't record it for Pluto or Gremlin, which is unfair. But these are also Dark Affinity monsters, and Shadow's also Dark Affinity. He also healed some, he's tall. But I did it on non-Dark Affinity monsters, and it's still pretty weak, considering Clark is like almost level 70. And he's really well equipped. Yeah, about 5,000. I still think that's pretty weak compared to Origin, that does about... Well, to be fair, 5,000 is not that bad, but every other enemy after you get a Shadow, in one of those mini final dungeons, they're all dark. kind of defeats the purpose. So Origin's your best bet. We're always getting pure 4 to 8,000 depending on how empowered you put yourself with Clark. But anyways, here's our funny skits.
俺思うお前バカ
私思うあんたもっとバカ喧嘩やめてお願い
喋り方映ってない
本当ですね
だからシャドウの真似して遊ぶのはやめるんだ
Just one more part going on. See you guys then. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter if you're really into that, because I kind of do tend to use it. Anyways, that's about it. This is a Pig Flake. Take care, keep on gaming. I'm out.